Ryan Galloway for Low Kick MMA here with UFC Bantamweight Brian Kelleher, who faces Ricky Simone on September 5th. Brian, how you doing, mate?
I'm doing good, man. How's everything going?
Everything's going great for me. You said you're heading home from the gym, packed up for the day. Obviously, how's your training going for this camp? This is your third fight you've had since the pandemic began. Has training been any different for this one?
Yeah, training's getting a little bit better. At the beginning of the pandemic, it was very hard to find guys to train. Now, it seems like the guys are starting to just loosen up a little bit more. I got a small group of guys that are high level that I'm working with. So, yeah, I feel good with this fight. I got more time to prepare, which is nice, and I'm ready to go.
Awesome. So, obviously, you haven't fought in front of fans in your last two fights. How's that been for you? Has it been something you've enjoyed, having I don't know, a more intimate setting than when all the fans there? Or would you prefer to be fighting in front of fans again?
I'd always prefer to have the fans. I think the roar of the crowd is something special, when the fight gets crazy and they get loud. I love that. I feed off of that. But at the same time, it was historic to be able to fight with no fans and kind of experience something completely different from what I'm used to. And I think I did really well with managing that, and it was interesting. You could hear your corners really well. You could hear his corners, and it's a little bit more intimacy to the fight. So I enjoyed it.
That's good. This fight's at 145 pounds as well. Your last two at 145 pounds from memory, I believe. Is that something you're going to try and stick at? Are you trying to stay at 145 pounds for the time being during all this COVID stuff? Or are you happy to go back down to 135 and take what you're given?
Yeah, I mean, with more time to prepare, I wouldn't mind to go back down to bantamweight. That's, my natural weight class. But right now with the pandemic, it has been a slightly different with training and everything. It's a little bit harder to get the same quality. So, I think the UFC is willing to be a little bit more open-minded to changes like that. So they've been cool about it, which I'm happy with. Not having to cut a lot of weight is only going to make for better performances and healthier fighters. So I enjoy it.
Yeah, for sure. What have you found the fight weeks like in comparison to before the COVID times to now with all the tests and stuff you have to do? Have you found that having to go through all that stuff during fight week is it a different lead up to the fight? Is there any changes that you noticed or?
Yeah, it's definitely different because, we have to quarantine. We get tested upon arrival, then we have to quarantine for like 24 hours. They keep you got to wear your mask around the hotel. We stay inside the bubble, with the UFC only. And I think, they're doing it as safe as possible. They definitely have a good system down. And, it's a little bit different. You can't really leave the room and go like sightseeing or maybe go, for a walk somewhere or whatnot to get your mind off the fight. So it's a little different in that aspect, but I'm not really much of a guy that goes out and about anyways, so it doesn't affect me much.
Fair enough. And your training wise, has it changed on fight week? Have you been able to train less or hasn't it changed at all? What's the go there?
No, I mean, fight week training is kind of the same. They set you up with a workout room right next to your hotel room. It's a little bit smaller. There's no other guys in the room, so it's different in that manner. But it's definitely, it's all that you need is in there. They got the portable sauna. They got the bathtubs in the hotel rooms. I'm getting my workouts in with my team. And the weight cut's not really hard for me to make 45, so it's no big deal.
Fair enough. Your last fight, you faced off against Cody Stamann. Obviously, that one didn't go your way. What were your biggest takeaways from that loss? Was there anything from that loss that you'd be able to learn from and fix in your game going forward? What did you think?
In all honesty, I was pretty proud of my performance. I thought I did really well against a top 10 guy. I don't think I got dominated like a lot of people were kind of saying. I didn't see that, but I lost by a little bit of points. I feel just maybe starting a little bit faster. Throwing out a little bit more volume in my striking. Don't settle for positions that are disadvantageous to you, like being on your back for a little bit or being against the cage, stuff like that.
For sure. And your opponent in this next one, Ricky Simone, what do you think of him as a fighter? And is that the fight you wanted, or was there another opponent you had in mind?
Yeah, I think this is a great matchup. I take whoever the UFC gives me, really. I'll if I come off a win, I'll speak my mind. I'll call somebody out. You got to try to ask for what you want. But with Ricky Simon, I mean, this is a good fight for me. He's been in and out of the top 15. He's an exciting guy that likes to bang, likes to scrap in there. So I'm the similar style. I think this makes for a really exciting fight, and I think this makes for some bonus money as well. So I'm all about it.
For sure. And what do you think you have to do to get the win in this matchup?
I think I just have to be smart, and not fall into his game. I do like to fight in the pocket, but I think just to fight a little bit smarter, to mix things up really well, and just I think I have more power to finish than him. He goes to decision a lot, but he is a good wrestler, so I have to have my takedown defense on point and just be able to outpoint him on the feet. These judges' decisions. When I go to the judges, I tend to lose by decision, so. I got to make sure I'm one step ahead the whole time.
Absolutely. And I'll get your prediction on the fight. How do you think this one ends come fight night?
I'm always going for finish, man. I think whether it's KO or a submission, I'm looking to finish the guy. I don't care where the fight is. I'm confident in every aspect, whether it's me and him striking it in the pocket and exchanging, I think my power will prevail. Or if he wants to wrestle me, I believe my submission game is a little bit higher level than his as well. So I'm happy anywhere, man, but I'm always looking for the finish.
Absolutely. And I don't want to look too far past Ricky, but what's next for you after this? Are you planning to fight more this year if you're healthy, or what's the plan?
Oh, yeah, I love staying active, man. That's why I'm happy. This is my 4th fight this year. I'm looking for 5 at least. I think that'd be great. I always said in the beginning I want to be the Cowboy Cerrone of the bantamweight division. So I think so far, that's kind of panning out. I'm taking short notice fights against whoever they offer me to, and I'm willing to step in there and take risks. So yeah, I'd love to get 1 more at least in this year.
For sure. And I know in your, it was once you defeated Hunter Azua, you called out Sean O'Malley. Obviously, he's coming off a loss in his last fight. If you get a win here in this fight, would that be someone you're interested in next, or what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's always a matchup that's available. I feel, as long as I get a big win, people forget about the last one, and now, the hype gets behind you again. He's coming off a loss. I'm not sure what they're going to look to do with him, but I'm always down to fight him. But I might be looking onward and upward. I think a big win and finish over Ricky Simon puts me in a position where I can challenge a top 15, potentially even a top 10 guy. If you call for it, you might get it.
For sure. I'll get your opinion. What did you think of his last fight against Vera at UFC 252?
Yeah, man. He's a guy that I think is a little injury prone. Maybe he's a little bit fragile, and he can't handle the leg kicks as well as other guys, because he kicked Chito Vera really good early on in the calf, and Chito kind of ate it and was moving forward still, and then when he got kicked in that same spot, it kind of broke him, and he fell down to the ground. We don't really know what the injuries are. Maybe he tore something, but that's the thing with this sport. The bigger the build, the bigger the fall, and I think it's gonna have to humble him a little bit, and he's going to have to come back and try to erase that. But, I mean, to be honest, it's probably the best way for someone like him to lose. There's a lot of asterisks. There's a lot of controversy to it. So I see it as an actual good thing for him. It's much worse for him to have gotten dominated or submitted or knocked out. So, he tripped over an injured ankle, and it's something he could use for an excuse, I guess, if he really wants.
Yeah, I agree. And so after this fight and heading into 2021 beyond, is the goal here to get a win in the next one and then make a run at the title? What are you planning to do?
Yeah, the goal is always the title. That's why it's so hard to face defeat against, those top 10 guys when I get my chance, with John Lineker, with Cody Stamann, two guys. I fought a hard, good fight, but I just didn't come out on top with that big chance to make a run for a title. So for me, it's setbacks, but it's a chance to rejuvenate myself and go back in there and regain that confidence and put myself back in position to challenge for the top guys. I'm 34 now. I just turned 34. So for me, time isn't always on my side. So I'm trying to call out those top guys as soon as I get my hands on Simon and get a win.
So if everything goes well, when do you expect to be fighting for a belt?
I mean, if everything went completely smooth, I would say by mid next year to the end of next year.
Awesome. Well, that's everything I had here. Thanks for taking time to speak to me, Brian. Best of luck with the rest of your camp, and good luck on the fight night.
All right, man. Thanks a lot for the time. I appreciate it.